Hey, Rich.
Hey, Rich, is gonna be in the room?
Hi.
You know it?
Can you give it to me? No, I have a charger. Just give me your phone.
So,
Look,
I
there's
could
what's
just turn off
going
the sound.
on. It is on.
Where's my water?
Right there, it's high up there.
Who's on that?
So I got Rich, I got Alan and Carol. Alan?
Is Linda there?
No.
Full house today.
Yeah.
All right, let's just give everyone a few minutes to get settled. And then,
That's right, we're here, everybody, sorry. We had another meeting here.
I'll go in the back over here. The Sackley
Hi.
meeting.
Yes. Plenty of time.
Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna hover over you for a couple minutes.
okay, we're just giving Linda a couple more minutes to get online.
Hi,
Let's see her,
Rich.
please. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing?
Okay, good.
Tom, why are you texting me?
He said, Tom, why are you texting me?
Because you should be here.
Because you should be here.
No, I could be remote. Thank you. Thank you. Stop texting me.
They
or I'll block.
need that, like,
Enough.
switcheroo.
It's a more nasty text from Tom DiPietro.
Are we gonna have an opening wave?
No.
God, Josh, come on, just like, come on.
Josh is in charge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let you settle in before you introduce.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Linda. Okay. Yay, welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
How's everyone
Thank
doing?
you. Good.
Yay,
Andy.
great. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but like I said last month, I have to do remote this month. Okay, so we have some admin stuff to go through first. And as per Josh, I think that's a good idea. We're going to hold off on the Hecate letter until the end of the agenda. So here we go. First of all, call meeting to order. All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Accepting last month's minutes. All in favor? Any comments,
Aye.
questions? Great. No issues, questions? All right, thank you. Danielle's there. Yay. Welcome. How are you?
Yay.
Did you take your oath of office yet? And with Tracy?
At 4:30 today.
There you go. Great.
Super official.
Thank you. And I think what's going to happen, you will soon get a city email address, an email account. Okay, and then you'll be with the rest of us. Great. Okay, cool. All right, so that's all I have for admin stuff. So I think we'll go right into the presentations. How does everyone feel about that first? And then we'll go over the status of our projects. Cool?
Yes.
That works.
All right. All right, so we have two presentations from Troy and Lily today. Who would like to go first? Any preference?
I don't mind, whatever suits you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I just get out. Let's face the fire. Just to give a bit of background, my name is Lily and I work for Electricity. We're a company that specializes in floating solar. So I've got a quick presentation here just to give a bit of an outline of what we do and what we're proposing. So I'll just hand it out. I find the paper copies. Oh yeah, perfect. That's great.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
No worries.
Oh, yes, thank you very much.
Where's the best place to stand with? Is here? Okay. So yeah, as I said before, my name is Lily and this is Angel. And we both work for Electricity. We're both floating solar developers, which is great. And a really exciting business to be in at the moment. So Angel's just going to take away just with the introduction of our slides and a bit about the company, our history, and our extensive experience as well.
Yes, thank you very much for having us to make it today. Like you said, my name is Angel, it's French. People call me Angelique, but it's fine. Let's move to Angel, Angelique. So yeah, so I will start by presenting our company, who we are, who is Electricity and what we do. So Electricity is a subsidiary or an arm of development of Ciel-Éter Group. And Ciel-Éter is an expert in floating solar and a globally recognized leader and pioneer in the field. So that means that we came up with the technology of floating solar and other people just copied from us. And we began in 2006 with building rooftop and ground mounted projects. But then in 2011, we came up with the intuition, the idea, why can't we build it on top of water with space trees, you know? And then that's how in 2012, we developed the technology at Hydralia. And in 2019, our first project was born, and that was in Japan, and was a 600, and you can see it on the slide, 631 kilowatts each. And in 2019 as well, Electricity was born. So at the moment, Electricity is present in 10 countries, in France, in USA, Italy, India, Japan, Brazil, and other countries. So we own as a group 25 manufacturing lines, including the USA, and 8 worldwide offices with the headquarters in California, Petaluma. And we have also 15 distributors and agents. So now we're going to talk a little bit about our project overview. our portfolio. So Ciel has more than 300 floating photovoltaic plants, and it's built in 30 countries with a total capacity of 1,000 megawatt peak. Electricity has more than 90 floating photovoltaic plants built in 10 countries with the total capacity of 80 plus megawatt peak. And all these references use Edgelio technology, like I said before, and we are expected to reach over 1.6 gigawatts in 2025 as a group, and 1.2 gigawatt peak for electricity. So I will talk a little bit about our experience in building. So we have more than 10 years of continuous experience, research and development in the most extreme conditions, you name it, earthquake, typhoons, snow, waves, tidal range, etc. And all this experience have made our project among the most advanced in the world. And that being said, we have had the opportunity to implement our plans on various types of water bodies, like drinking water reservoirs, dams, irrigation ponds, and more. And you have our pictures, the pictures you have on slide.
Yeah, it starts with Kelseyville in California.
Kelseyville, yeah.
It's one of our projects, just a couple of examples.
Yeah, we just took like 4, right? Because we have a lot, but we took 4. So Kelseyville and Windsor, they are in California, and they are built in wastewater treatment plants. And we know what wastewater treatment plants mean. So those facilities are designed to remove contaminants from wastewater, so that and that water comes from industries, from homes, so that it's sometimes contaminated. But our system is resistant to any contamination. So we see that you can see the pictures. Those are real photos, because sometimes some people ask, are these pictures from internet or
Like Photoshop done, yeah.
Those are real photos of projects that we already built. So yeah, our system is resistant to any contamination, and the good thing is also that it can also sit on a dry. So let's say the pond is empty, the system can still sit on the ground and continue to function normally. So the next project is you have another one in New Jersey. Okay, the name is Wind. No, not Windsor. I don't think that one's out. Oh, it's not here. Okay, we talk about the third one, Queen Elizabeth II reservoir. That's a drinking water reservoir. And a lot of people have concerns about drinking water. Is it safe for water? And the answer is yes, because you can see that beautiful picture. This is in the middle of London. And if it wasn't safe for drinking water, I think they will never allow us to build this project. So it's safe. So it's not only resistant to contaminated water, but it's also safe for drinking water. So you can see how with a 6.3 megawatt, we can power 1,800 homes, and you see tons of CO2 saved per year through this project. So we think it's worth it. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our presence in the Northeast. So we have going on right now in the Northeast 3 projects, 5. We have one Winchester, capacity of 6.5 megawatt peak. In Carver, we had a pilot project there. St. Mary, Newport, we have 22.6 megawatt. And in Rhode Island, we have a 23.6 megawatt peak, so totaling 57.5 megawatt peak.
So these are all up and running?
Yeah, they are actually
In service.
on interconnection phase, so they are not built yet. So,
They're in the development process.
development
Yeah.
process.
Very good.
They've been approved, they've been signed off. We're just doing, and as I'll get into a bit about how the steps work to make these projects feasible. These have been in the pipeline for a while, but as for example, Newport is a local government as well, and we've worked with them in order to get the project running. But these ones are quite important in relation to Mass DEP. And also, as I'll go on the next slide. So yeah, thanks, Angel. And as Angel said, we have extensive experience internationally, but also in the US, which is really important. And in Massachusetts as well, we have those 5 projects going on in development. They are not there, you can't go and visit them yet, but they are in construction, they are in the pipeline, they have been approved. And in regards to, so the main question we get a lot from people is environmental compliance. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that these are environmentally sound, they're not going to affect the ponds, the lakes. We don't want to cause any issues in regards to that. So to begin, we have scientific data regarding our floating technology in California. So essentially these floats, and we'd be very happy in the future to show you a float, they're made out of HDPE. So that's when you're drinking out of your water bottle, when you're turning on the pipe to get water out of the tap. These are the same pipes, they're plastic. So they're completely water drinking compliant. We have certification from the UK condoning this as well. The UK has one of the strictest regulations in water drinking, as you probably know, the EU from like their food regulation, like they're a lot stricter than the US. So we've got that certification as well as a lot of academic research to back up that not only does it reduce evaporation, which can be great specifically more for drinking water reservoir, which is not what the body we're proposing for the city of Hudson, but that it is an added benefit, as well as it can create aquatic environments also for fishes as well, like a really positive addition to those ecosystems. And again, as Angel said, we have projects all over the world. We've been in operation for 10 years. We have no claims. We would not allow to be here if there was any environmental due diligence issues. So I just want to make that very clear, because that's a huge question that we get a lot as developers. And just on the next slide, in regards to permitting experience as well. So as Angel touched upon as well, we have experience with the Mass DEP with our pilot project that has been approved. They believe that it preserves land resources. So that is a key benefit of our project. A lot of these ground mount solar, you have to knock down trees, and that kind of seems a bit counterintuitive because you're trying to reduce carbon dioxide. So these, we typically put these floating solar arrays on water bodies that are being underutilized at the moment. So no one's using them anyway. So no one's looking at them. So that's the main benefit. So conserves land, but also reduces carbon dioxide and promotes clean energy as well. So again, yeah, so that's been approved by the Mass DEP, which is another question. Yeah.
How long did that permitting take for Mass DEP?
I think it took around, was it a year? Oh, this is Eva. She's our managing director. She's here from France as well. And this is Matisse as well. He's our engineer. So you brought the whole team.
I'm a dinosaur floating solar. I've been in the circuit with the company for 15 years and had the pleasure of opening the US branch in 2016. So with Mass DEP, which is actually creating a full guideline for floating solar, it took about between 12 and 18 months to go through the process. And that depends for each water body, because every water body has a function, as an existing environment. We're working with mainly man-made water bodies, and that depends on what you have during your ecological assessment. Some of them can be dried out completely, for example, for cranberry growings or for irrigation or from former quarries. So the good thing is that we address each project with the existing condition, do all the survey required and present this to DEP, because what we want to make sure is obviously we don't affect habitats, existing wetlands, and that we work very closely with towns, with conservation commissions, then with DEP, and make sure we do address of this in the environmental review. So each project is slightly different because each project is a working form. So we will we will obviously make all the survey necessary and work closely with the town, with the DP, with the reviews, those building permits. But we are very well advanced, and we know every town is a little bit different and has different concerns, and we address it.
And just a bit about what we're proposing for the city of Hudson, because that's the main reason we're here. So if you go past the economic opportunity, there's a design that we have put forward. So we're looking at Underhill Lake primarily because it was a good site for interconnection. It is a smaller array, it's 1.2, so it's not that large as well. So that's what we're looking for. And in regards to, I'll just show on the next slide, there's just a parcel plan just to show the area that is owned by the city of Hudson. As you can see, it's the water body around and the surrounding areas as well, just to give it a bit more of an overview, as well as where the interconnection will go. That's that red dot at the top corner there.
So I think this is sort of my biggest question about this
Yeah,
project, is that it's currently, there are a bunch of homeowners surrounding
Yes.
Underhill Ponds, many of which have docks, and use the lake in the summer.
Okay,
And there's definitely people who are using it for fishing currently.
okay.
And like what the degree of, if any, of outreach has happened, or understanding of how that, why, I guess also why this pond versus other spaces in town.
No, of course. So in regards to this one particularly, it was due to the interconnection. It was the most viable site in the city of Hudson. So we, as a team, we survey a whole load of sites, and this one popped up on our radar as like an amazing opportunity. So that's why this site particularly was chosen. In regards to public engagement, at the moment, that is not, we haven't looked into that. We're just proposing a first season opportunity, seeing how you respond to it. But moving on from it, we work a lot in regards to public engagement workshops to make sure people understand. We don't want to, look, we don't want to upset anyone. We don't want to ruffle any feathers. We don't want to cause a headache for you or for us. We want to work together collaboratively. So we'd be very happy in order to talk to them. And if they are using it recreationally, we can adapt exactly the needs. If we need to push it back, if we need to minimize it in order to suit their needs, we're very happy to do that as well. In regards to maybe putting buoys, just to make sure that that area is protected. So we would need to talk to them. And as I said, this design is no way set in stone. We can adapt to their needs as well and reframe it as well.
And then, have you visited the site?
I've driven past it, but I haven't because it's quite, it looks,
hard to get to.
it's hard to get to, yes.
Yeah, and that was sort of my other question, was like, it's actually, I don't know if you would actually have any access without like actually constructing quite a bit of new infrastructure to be able
Well,
to get.
I mean,
equipment
it's a
in
little
there.
bit difficult for casual people to access it, but I have walked
It's just quite
down
steep.
from
Yeah.
6th Street to the water's edge. I mean, it's not enormously hazardous or anything.
How is the vegetation going down to that area? Is it quite dense, or is
Yeah.
are you able, okay. That would be within our due
I mean,
diligence.
what do you think?
It's quite steep as
Yeah.
well. Okay. Well, we'd look into that for our due diligence as well. We haven't gone down yet because that was private property. We don't want to trespass. So we get permissions prior to that just to make sure to assess the site. And we're very happy to do that afterwards, just to make sure that also it is viable for us and for the town, city as well. So this is, again, as I said, very preliminary. We need to do a bit of background to check everything. And as you said, public engagement as well. Just to make sure people are happy with the project going forward as well. And just a bit about what it will give to the surrounding area as well as a benefit. So just on the next page, it shows the different options for landowner. I'm not sure if the city of Hudson has a lot of experience in community solar, but what this project will offer is that the residents in the local area can subscribe to a platform to get discounted energy on for their electricity bills. So that's a key benefit for the residents of the surrounding area. So as well as a PR move, because it's great for the city of Hudson to showcase such an innovative project. It also benefits people, especially the residents surrounding it as well. So that's a great advantage, and we can, as we go through the process, those figures can be brought out as well in regards to the subscription. And the third benefit, which is great as well, is we would lease the water body. So the town would get a passive income in regards to that. So at the moment, we're proposing the lease rate of 7,000 for this project. So the first year rent is just over 8,000, and then this lease can be 20 to 30 years, so 315,000 overall. So this is a passive income that's coming into the town that otherwise wouldn't be coming in. So that's another key benefit. So again, the three things would be that lease as well, the community solar, but also just the PR publicity for the project as well, and the support of climate change, the main reason we're here as well, which is great. So yeah, I just touched on those benefits there. And yeah, again, so with this project, around 500 tons of CO2 would be saved annually, which is equivalent to 111 vehicles, which is great. So just to kind of put into numbers what this would be saving as well. And again, in regards to publicizing this, Lake Tricity is very happy to support as well in the publication of this within local newspapers. And we're happy to finance that as well, in addition. Okay, so the big question, if we want this project to move forward, when will it actually be built? When will the array come together? So just on the timeline here, which is on this slide. So essentially how this works is the big hurdle that we need to go through is interconnection. The utility at the moment, that is our main struggle. However, we do have a lot of experience in regards to it, in regards to Massachusetts and projects we've done in California as well. So this isn't definitely something that we're experienced in. And in regards to interconnection, then following on that survey and permitting, Lake Tricity, we do all the upfront costs as well. So this is around between 200,000 to 300,000, depending on the project, that we upfront all of those costs. We, again, don't want to cause a headache for the city of Hudson. We do all that. In regards to what we would need from you would be just understanding easements, looking at who owns what, and just a bit of support in regards to communication. And we would continually inform you about what is going on in the process. Because as you can see, for the first around 4 years, we're doing a lot of the behind the scenes research and a lot of behind the scenes due diligence. And therefore, you wouldn't see anything actually happening on the ponds. So, which is good as well. It gives you a bit of time to think about it. And we then will give you quarterly updates on what's going on, because that's really important for us, communication, so you guys can definitely be kept in the loop as well, which is great. And then procurement and construction will happen in year 5, and then we offer 3,000 during that period. This takes around 6 months to a year. It's actually quite fast once we get it running, and then the rent will start from there. So again, we start with an option period where we do that due diligence, we go really in depth, we do the interconnection application, environmental assessment, and that's funded by us. And then we go forward onto the construction. And then this is just a bit of more of an in-depth engineering aspect of the project. If you're interested in research and development, this is made in the USA. It's made in Houston, Texas, quality tested as well, which is great. And as Angel said, we are the pioneers in this product as well, which is great. And we have a lot of experience in regards to it. So I know that's a lot of information. So if anyone has any questions, I'm very happy, and Angel and even there to answer them as well. And again, if you don't have questions now, in the future, I'm not sure if you have. I was in contact mostly with the group, but I'm very happy to give my business card to Angel as well, and we can answer anything in the future as well. So thank you very much for listening as well.
Great, thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, I think my biggest question is like, are there other bodies of water that, I mean, I don't know if it's the ideal body of water,
Yeah.
just given the, I sort of imagine will be strong neighborhood opposition to this.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially from the people who are using it for recreation.
Nobody else is going to know.
Yeah. I'm just like thinking about other.
And it's not a reservoir, right?
No.
No.
Have you looked into Greenport? Because there's the only way into Hudson, or is that Greenport or Hudson? The pond, what's it called?
Is that-
right off of 9?
Well, the town of Greenport completely surrounds Hudson on 3 sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
So
what you mean?
yeah, the one that's at the end of Power Ave. The water that's like, I don't know, the water there. Yeah, the bay, yeah, that area.
It's the Hudson
And
River.
that like rises and falls and all that stuff.
Right.
Anyway,
It's-
yeah,
It's tidal estuary,
yeah,
yes.
that would probably be a more, I don't know, there's nobody living on that.
Is that protected by any chance? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Never
Well, I
mind.
mean, it's, yeah, it's surrounded by property owned by a local company, a corporation.
Oh.
Which is not to say that they would or would not be interested in the
Okay.
proposal. You know, it couldn't
Yeah.
hurt to ask them.
Then it would be private.
Well, it's already, I mean, it is, the whole project is a private development on, in this case,
Right,
a
but
piece of city-owned
If they,
property.
yes, exactly.
And
So
if you
they
own
do
it
it on the place
there's
that's
a
city owned
corporation
property,
that
then the
has a-
city benefits.
as some water,
Yeah.
and that would be another target.
Yeah.
The question for them is, what other characteristics does it have? Is it close to the point of interconnection and so forth?
No, completely, and we'd be very happy. I looked in the surrounding area quite extensively, and this is where this project came from. There's a couple of quarries as well that we.
Yeah, that's the same owner.
Yes, yeah. And there's the Naples Russo and Son quarry as well, yeah, so I've been in touch with them. Unfortunately, I think due to their extraction at the moment, they weren't interested just because
They might
they
have to
do-
have digging equipment there.
completely, and also they do a lot of
Blasting.
blasting,
Yeah.
and they were saying if one of the rocks falls onto the solar, yeah, so I was like, maybe, I don't know if that's, you know.
Tom, when we met, you were talking about the our reservoir. What happened? Why did you eliminate that?
Churchtown Reservoir as well. In regards to the interconnection after, it's not great. We could look at possible upgrades if that would be of interest to you as well, and I'm very happy to give more of a concrete proposal. I think for today, mostly, I really wanted to show the project as well to the city of Hudson, because it is a really great development, and I think for New York State as well, it'd be an amazing publicity for the town. So what I can do is if we can look more into this site here, if this isn't viable, as you said, in regards to, we don't want to upset anyone, that is the main thing. We can look further into the reservoir, see if we could do any upgrades, and then propose that and see what you guys think about that as well.
Am I correct that the main driver on selecting this body is because of that interconnection?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that was the main, and that's what we look for to make sure that we can get the project through.
Is the opportunity zone or the tax credits that are available in the city of Hudson, is that another driver? So those wouldn't be present outside at Churchtown either, one imagines.
In regards to tax credits.
Yeah, I'm just like curious if any of that is, Tom, you're making a face at me.
I doubt it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just like curious what all the things are, yeah.
And maybe I can talk about the fishing activities and the floating solar, because we do have sites that have association of fishermen. It just depends, do you know if they fish out of pontoons or if they go in the water with boats? Because for us, ultimately, we will take limited space, and also what we can do is develop a program. I don't know if you have permits or license to fish on the reservoir. If you feed, like if you replenish fish population, something like this, because we can work with them if they have an association to create something that would be also a little bit more favorable to be able to fish on the embankments. Some equipment, a program to replenish the fish population if there is an issue with that. So we work a lot with fisheries and aquaculture. So this is something we can discuss with them. But often, if you don't have a commercial fishing program, if it's just few individuals that pretty much fish on your pond without
Yes,
a frame to it.
that's really what the situation is.
Okay,
Right.
so we can.
A few of the owners who have the direct frontage on the water can be seen putting a line into the water. It's not a very busy fishing place.
It's not a commercial.
Okay, folks, in the interest of time, since we have another presentation, maybe we can take this offline and continue our conversation with them. I mean, I forwarded you their presentation, so you have their email addresses. And maybe we can, do some research between now and next month, and if necessary, call you back for another, for another question and answer period. How does that sound?
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for. All right, like I said, in the interest of time, we have, we're going to move on to the second presentation. Troy,
Yes. Hi. So from one solar project to another. So I'm Troy Weldy with Columbia Land Conservancy, and I've met, I think, about half of you. And I'm not sure who's online in regards to that I've met or not, but just a brief background for myself. I worked for the Nature Conservancy for many years. Prior to that, I taught environmental science at Vassar College. When I was with the Nature Conservancy, I worked with many water authorities around the state, including the City of Albany, the Albany Water Board, and working with them in regards to how to manage their lands to improve water quality. Same with the City of Amsterdam and the City of Little Falls, which is further out in the Mohawk Valley. And I did not work with the City of Cohoes. Cohoes has a floating, they broke ground on a floating solar facility this past year. And what's that? They didn't break it? Oh, okay. The articles I read that they had. So, but I didn't have any involvement with that project. But I have worked a lot with different water supplies around the state, just working with them on how to improve their water supply systems, really focused in regards to runoff, looking at forest management, improving the forest health around those areas, to look to ways that we can ensure that the drinking water is really maintains the quality of that drinking water. So here, when I come to the Columbia Land Conservancy, maintaining water quality is really core to our mission, core of what I want to see happen with lands. And I've gotten pulled into this solar project in Prairieville, reluctantly, as part of that. And there are groups out there that are very opposed to the project. There are groups that are very much in favor of the project. I'm in this very lonely radical middle, and where both sides have been opposed in regards to some of the things that I have come forward with. But to me, the science still matters in regards to the project. And I reached out to Rich because I saw that a resolution came out from the city in regards to that project, directly concerned about water quality from the solar panels. And I don't know if everyone has seen what that resolution ultimately looked like, but I have it here. And the resolution 5 times references the Columbia Land Conservancy in there. But I didn't hear from anybody prior to the resolution actually moving forward. So it made me realize I haven't done a good enough job communicating with the city, with this group, in regards to the work that the Columbia Land Conservancy is doing and how we're available as a resource to all of you as part of this. And when the resolution was talking about water quality with this solar project, I was concerned because I've been trying to get people to pay attention to water quality in this area. Because what's happening right now on that property is that we have monoculture corn that's growing on 2/3 of the property, non-organic monoculture corn that gets sprayed every spring and fall with liquid manure, has pesticides and herbicides that are treated on that property. On the opposite side of the road, we have cows actually standing in the stream. So I welcome the debate in regards to water quality of what's happening there now versus what would happen post-solar being built on the project. And with the buffers that happen with these solar projects, the way the solar projects are built, there could be an argument made in regards to sedimentation during the building process. But that also doesn't take into account the fact that this cornfield is plowed every year right up to the stream's edge. So again, we could look at sedimentation, but the sedimentation on that plowing is going to be worse than what happens during the period of construction for the project. And similarly, in regards to, I've heard issues in regards to lead and cadmium on the project. There is in some solar, those exist. It's like 2% of solar panels use that. The solar panels on this project wouldn't include that. I've looked into this in great detail in regards to the project. There are actually many reasons to oppose this project. And the big one in my mind is that it's converting active agricultural land to non-use. And then it'll no longer be producing food. It's no longer going to be an active agriculture. And I pushed Hecate on this to try to change the project so we don't lose active agriculture. Similarly, view shed issues. And I think that's a main driver with a lot of this, is that people are concerned with the view impacts and how it's going to change the culture of the community, which are both those reasons are very valid. but I feel like people are grabbing for other reasons, and I have a pet peeve when people grab environmental regulation to try to oppose something that they're against. And at least in this case, I just wanted to communicate that Columbia Land Services actually looked closely at the water quality issues, and we have no concerns on that. So, when I saw the resolution, that had me concerned, like I said, and I was like, well, I want to open up communications with this group so that if things like that come up, especially when they're referencing our documents, then you'd ask me, and that I could help guide in regards to what some of those things are. And I also want to open the dialogue up because there's more work that we're doing that I hope benefits Hudson. We did just close on property at the north end of town where we now own most of the North Bay area, the wetlands, and then the formal gravel pit. We're looking at building a connector trail that will go from 3rd Street down the hill through Charles Williams Park and up into Greenport, and want to see how we can engage you all on that. And then also on the water quality side, we are in the process of buying 500 acres in the town of Taconic that directly feeds into the Churchtown Reservoir. And we're going to make a community forest out of that. So where we're looking at how we directly involve the community in the management of that and the decision-making of what happens there. And we want to invite Hudson into that decision-making process about what's happening right within your watershed as part of this. So I don't know what the resolution or what the vote is in regards to Hecate later on the agenda. But what I would encourage is that I've actually spoken to the landowner who owns this farm currently, and I've offered to pay for a water pump that will pump water from the stream away from the stream, and then putting some buffering along the stream areas for plantings to get the cows out of the stream. Mm-hmm. And similarly, talking to the landowner about possibly converting to some sort of organic grains or other alternatives besides corn on there. And if this group wanted to write a letter to the owner to encourage getting those cows out of the stream, that would be great. That would actually have a meaningful impact and benefit on the water quality that's there. I'm sure Rob Perry will tell you the water quality is good, and it is. We're looking at ways in which to ensure the long-term protection to minimize any future impacts, which is what this land protection project we're buying would do. But in regards to solar versus what's happening there, from my view of everything we've done, it's a non-issue.
So there's no riparian buffers along that at all? Or?
With currently that's happening there with the corn?
Yeah.
No.
What about the wetlands that they're proposing to drain to put up with the solar panels?
There is no drainage of wetlands.
Well, yeah, I think there will be drainage of wetlands because they have to install panels in the field, and those fields are wet.
So the fields at one point may have been part of a larger wetland complex, but where they're putting the solar panels now is where the corn is located. So they're not.
It's just not just one site. There are many sites proposed, and they were supposed to be felling a lot of trees that were adjacent to the Taconic Ridge.
So if you go further upslope away from the wetland, there is a 40-acre area that is currently treed that they have proposed taking trees down as part of that and putting solar in there, which I was part of this working group that brought multiple entities, individuals, organizations together to look at the project, and we oppose the removal of those trees that are there. The trees, though, are separate from the water quality issue. This specifically here was talking about water quality.
Exactly.
The trees are, I agree, in regards to if we can minimize the removal of trees as part of that project, that would be best. In my prior role, I was, of course, carbon developer, where I was looking at how you actually work with and improve forest health to sequester more carbon in those areas. And as much as I love forest, solar panels actually sequester more carbon than a tree would. And I've done the calculations and shared it with groups in regards to here's what the solar panels in that forest would do. This is what the trees would do. So from a carbon standpoint, solar is better. From a wildlife standpoint, which I certainly care about, the trees are better. So again, it's trying to get the actual facts out there and letting people make decisions based upon what's out there. I prefer not to see those trees cut down.
Yeah, no, I just don't think it's that simple. I agree with you on the water question.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And however, they're trying to get easements and how closely they can build to the streams or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think those are inappropriate. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's just simply, okay, water versus all the rest of the destruction. I think that's gonna happen. In order to put this in place, as well as the drilling down into the bedrock, I don't think there hasn't been a proper environmental impact.
Why would they need to drill to the bedrock?
Huh?
Why would they need to
To
drill?
secure the panels in some of these areas. Yes, that was part of the proposal. If you read the proposal,
I mean,
but
does
it's
it
been
say
submitted.
to the bedrock?
They're gonna be drilling down, yes, in certain places, yes.
But I don't recall it saying that, because the bedrock depth will vary.
Yes,
But what they need is, from an engineering point of view, a strong anchor.
correct.
And you would not normally need to go that deep.
Well, that's what they have. Just look at the proposal. There are statements about drilling and draining and a lot of other things.
No doubt, there must be,
Yeah.
but the issue of how deep it would be is another matter.
And-
But go ahead.
No, there will be drilling to anchor it, not to bedrock, but there will be drilling to anchor it.
Yeah.
And, but there is no drainage of wetlands as part of this project. I've looked into that. That was something where if there were drainage of the wetlands and loss of wetland habitats, we would oppose the project. But that is, that's
Well,
not happening.
Will there be any reforestation, like any,
They're doing some, I would say no. They are doing some tree plantings, but the
but
tree,
not to the extent that it be coming down?
not to what's being cut down. And the plantings they're doing, it's largely for shielding the array at ground level.
Screening.
It sits in a basin though, so anybody who lives up high, regardless of what's planted, they're gonna see it. And that's where a lot of the opposition then comes from, is because of that, where it sits in this valley area.
And is it like, what's the health status of those trees? Is it like a nice forest or
It's
is
not-
it mostly invasive and?
It would be a lower quality forest that's there. It's been cut over multiple times. I've gone in there, written down the various species that are present. It's not necessarily has a high invasive species component, but because of the high deer population, there's not a great understory as part of that. It's mostly I don't even want to call it second growth. But it's mostly like red maples that are part of there. So
Invasive vines or anything?
no invasive vines that I saw. There's some barberry and some other species like that.
I was just confused because in the Hillsdale report,
Mhm.
that was part of their matrix forest area. Am I wrong about that?
That's going to be off a little bit, not directly in this area. It goes to the north. We have something
It does go
called,
to the north, but on that ridge.
We have-
We're looking at, I thought it was part of that matrix. forest.
that's a little bit further. The Rhinestone Hill is going to be part of that, and some other areas will certainly be part of that. We have something called the Mid-Hudson Forest Corridor, which is this narrow pinch point. It's really important at a national level. Species move north to south, and that this is an area where they can funnel through to maintain that connectivity all the way down to the southern Blue Ridge, up to the Gaspe Peninsula, the Green Mountains, and that's this area. So the Columbia Electric are actually focused on doing land protection within this Mid-Hudson Forest Corridor. This area here where we're talking about is on the edge of a cornfield, and the impact any sort of that Mid-Hudson Forest Corridor is not.
I thought there were many areas in this proposal. There wasn't just one, right? We went to about 5 different areas.
They're all close where they all be interconnected with each other. So it's not like you have one here and then you go 2 miles away and then there's another one. It's all part of this large complex where they're interconnecting all the panels before it goes to the substation. And I don't want it to appear like I am supporting in favor of the project, but I'm in this radical lonely middle in regards to where we're at.
Kind of sounds that way.
With regards to this resolution, I think the purpose of it was within the scope of what our concerns are. as the
Yes.
City of Hudson.
Yes.
The trees are not within the scope of Hudson's,
Mhm.
remit.
Yep.
In a sense. So I think this resolution was put through.
Yes.
To examine the water quality issues that would impact Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we've lacked a certain amount of clarity about how much that would
Yeah.
impact. So at least from your experience at this point, because this has helped because it started the conversation. You don't feel, from your perspective around water quality.
Yeah.
But have they done a
And much
thorough
the opposite,
environmental study?
Right, like much the opposite, like I feel like what you're saying, Troy, is they would actually help the water.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
That counts.
Do you feel, like, from your own perspective, yes, have they done their due diligence? Do you feel, Hecate, Hecate, on analyzing this?
I think they have, but there are other things, I don't have a whole lot of trust in Hecate as a company. And so there, I do have some concern just in general in regards to some of the work that they've done. They do seem to have looked at this, but if we go back to that water quality, if there's really concern about water quality, I want people to speak up now about what's happening at the site right now. And that looks at, how do we address the cows standing in the middle of the stream? Not today, but certainly come like April, May. Guarantee if you drive by there'll be about 50 cows in the stream.
When you began your conversation with the owner, did you find him responsive?
And her.
And her. Okay.
Yes. Her more so, where she's sort of pushing her husband to have, they're not the actual farmers, they lease it out. He doesn't want to talk to the farmer about this. She very much wants this brought up and addressed as.
So there's some receptivity there.
Yes, at least on one half.
Someone float an idea if they will have sheep to come in or goats underneath the.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
No, they said that's why it's called Shepherd's Run. They're gonna bring sheep in as part of that. I've had a lot of conversation with Michelle and she just about these kinds of projects. And, again, where I'm not making any friends, I've said that sheep is not agriculture. Sheep are cute. What I'm trying to push the state overall, not just on this project, that when we look at these projects, we're allowing for continued food production under these solar panels, like continued uses of some ways, which means elevating the panels. There's a whole longer discussion about, how to do that or why that's not happening. New York incentives right now are really based towards build it as cheap as possible. So as cheap as possible means as low to the ground as possible and as many panels as possible into a single area. We want to put forward more incentives that allow for the dual use so that you can do continued food production under these panels and allow them to remain in active agriculture, which would still mean solar panels in the area. So it doesn't still deal with the view shed issues that people have. But we do want to see these properties remain in active agriculture and not continue to lose the agricultural economy within Columbia County.
Okay.
Like I said,
Well, thank you so much for coming, Troy.
Yeah. And as I mentioned,
Thank
we
you.
have other projects that we're working on with the North Bay project, with the Staconic Headwaters project. If you ever want updates on the other works that we're doing, I welcome an opportunity to come back to talk about some of those projects.
Another time. Yeah, well, what's your last name, Troy?
Weldy?
W-E-L-D-Y?
Yes.
Right.
I know you had contacted, to share some contact.
I think you might have his email. No, did I not send that to everyone?
Great.
And I can get it to you. I'm easy to find in the Columbia County web, or the Columbia Design Conservancy website.
Okay.
So I'm easy to get a hold of. So any questions, on things, like this, feel free to reach out. Happy to answer. I think you'll find I'm very transparent, very direct. So, that I won't be down the bush on some of these things.
I appreciate you coming in. I know you had reached out as a resource and to have a conversation. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're expecting to give a presentation, so thank you for.
All right, thanks.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right, so we had on the agenda the letter to Ores. What do we want to do with that? We want to hold off on that and maybe look at it again?
I think it'd be wise to look at it again. Yeah. Just to confirm.
Just to confirm. I mean, if we're going to sign this, with each of our names to it, we should all agree. I mean, we should agree to it if you're going to put your name on it. I mean, you could always send your own individual, but if we're going to do it as a group, it would be good to get everyone sign off on it before we actually submit it. So I don't know if there's a deadline for that comment period.
You were just almost fell over, Richard.
I just fell over. Am I back up again? There we go. Is there a deadline for the comment period? Does anyone know offhand?
Geez,
The 20th, 21st of February?
it's coming up.
Of this
like
month.
that. But it was just like, they can enact whatever they're gonna do anytime between now and then. I mean, that's sort of a drop dead date, but it doesn't mean that they won't start projects before.
Can I ask a question? For this resolution that was passed by the Common Council, do you know
Okay,
if this was
so-
submitted or used in any way other than just having a resolution? Did anyone submit the resolution from the Common Council to the public comment site? Okay.
And I mentioned it as well.
Okay.
But if you didn't write it, it was actually.
Okay.
Oh,
That's fine.
wasn't the mayor write this?
No.
No.
It was originally written by the group.
Signed by the
Yes.
mayor.
No, no,
Like in terms of,
we just passed it.
Rich, can you?
Yeah,
So
go
I just,
ahead.
like, me personally, I don't think I can support the letter, so that's just where I am, so.
I had a question
Others
whether,
are welcome to, like, that's sort of where I'm at at this point.
I had a question too about
Is
whether, whether the CAC, whether it's appropriate, I guess, for the CAC to submit a letter directly rather than to the Common Council. And so that was an open question. I know that's come up in the past for other
Well,
issues.
if I may, our charter as an organization directs us to do just the latter of those two options, to advise the Common Council on actions that they might want to take. That's our rule. That's the law, actually, that created us.
Right, advisory to the Common Council, yes.
Yes.
So, okay, so where do we go from here, folks? Any consensus or no? Do we want to revisit the letter?
I think we should
And-
revisit them.
I mean, it's obviously not an easy issue, so there's going to be no, it's not black and white. I mean, we could revisit the letter. Like I said, obviously Nathan is not on board. Fine, and we could just sign our individual names. I don't know. However you want to move forward.
So for those who might not have read the letter, I don't know if you have had a chance. It specifically asks for a further environmental review. It doesn't oppose the project specifically. It just.
And this is the project that
Yep.
Troy.
Oh,
so
it's
just to ask.
Oris. Oh, yes, I was forgetting the nature of the letter, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I'm familiar with it. I would support signing it.
You would, I'm sorry, you would or you would not support sending it?
I would not.
Okay,
I
anyone else?
support you doing, I would certainly support doing further environmental review. I don't think there's any harm in doing something like that. But to your larger question, which has been my question all along, does the CAC issue its own statements?
No,
Yeah, which I've asked several times.
that's the answer.
Yeah.
Article 47.
Yeah.
Just since I don't have context, do you mind sharing why you don't support it? Just or we could talk about it.
I think that the things that it lists as in terms of like risks of the project are not reasonable. Because like, as we heard, like the presentation of Troy, like the water quality issue, I think is actually going to be improved by this project rather than decreased. That's like my primary concern as a citizen resident. I feel like we are in a climate crisis and like we need as much solar as fast as we can. I'm stuck here breathing the air from the Athens generating plant currently, like that's our current status quo. And like as fast as we can deploy solar and like stop putting up, in what my view is like a NIMBY, like a bunch of rich people who don't want this in their backyards and don't like, whereas I'm stuck with the Athens generating plant in my backyard. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, so you just don't want it to be further delayed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think that the reasons articulated in the letter are valid for it.
I concur.
And you can. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I tend to be on that page too.
All right, anyone else?
Well, I think it's a fait accompli at this point. If this has been uploaded from the common council, you know, it will be moved by the time, and if and when anything is uploaded from CAC, you know, I think it's too late, frankly.
Okay, so that would be the end of the issue from our point of view.
It's too late. It's sad though, because we should be advising, but you know, if there's no consensus, there's no consensus, so.
Right. I mean, we did advise the council for the resolution. I mean, maybe we did do that.
Yes. Right.
I mean, everyone could do their own individual comments. But maybe as a council, do we have I'm not hearing a consensus that we can all, a consensus where we'll all agree to move forward or not.
Right.
Sounds like we're moving on.
Yes, we're moving on.
Sounds like.
Next
Yeah.
topic on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you got, Rich, on the next on the,
All right.
docket?
All right, thank you thank you. This Troy is gone, but thank you very much. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I think at this point, we're just, everyone's encouraged to do their own individual comments. And then I think that's where we're at. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, so let's move on real quickly. The DEC Canopy Grant. I saw an email today looking for a meeting. Any other? Okay, go ahead.
Canopy Grant, who's doing that?
That is the SAPs, as we like to call ourselves. We actually just met right before this, so Sam is blessedly taking a spearhead on some of this work in terms of putting that together. We are pursuing plans from the cemetery, showing where the original plantings were done. We're trying to come up with some figures around the kind of work that we would like to have done to retree the area. We're trying to use as a backup the fact that it has a spongy moth infestation that needs to be dealt with, as well as a large number of removals of trees. And we have a couple of arborists that we're looking to reach out to, and the grant writers are actually on board as well. We're trying to get a meeting with them by the end of the week to talk into that. Did I miss anything?
No, not really. I mean, we have contacted the DEC arborist to have him give his 2 cents recommendations. And I'll get back to him this week. We're going to try to set up a meeting, but it's a really very looming deadline. I don't know.
We're going to do what we can.
Are we gonna be able to- Yeah.
Put it that way. It's a really tight deadline, and it's a new database. It's a new government website. It's a challenge. So, you know, God bless Scott et al. For, you know, trying to work on this. You know, hopefully they can push it through, but it's going to be tight.
Right, because it's within a month. The deadline is when, March 12th or something?
March 9th. Oh, yeah, 12th, you're right. It's the middle of the week, March, but you have to really submit the week before. So we're talking 2.5, 3 weeks max.
Yes.
To pull this together, so.
If we miss this one, we can use all the information we learned to give the next.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Good.
We're going to get a try.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for working on this one. So let's see if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, we'll just move on to another grant then. Okay, cool. All right, next, CCA, Community Choice Aggregation. How's that going, Josh?
It has been posted. The RFP is out there. It's been posted by Rob Perry at the Register Star and also at this state website. So it's open for bidders to respond by February 28th. That was a 6-week period to respond, which seemed more than adequate. I sent it to Mid Hudson Energy Transition in Kingston, which is a nonprofit CCA administrator, or that their plans were to become one, and they told me that they've just gotten permission from the Public Service Commission to become administrators officially. They're the only nonprofit entity I know of that does CCA work. They're the only ones focused on equity and supporting low-income residents. I think they're the best in class, and they are working with the city of city of Kingston on their CCA program. So they said they'd take a look at the RFP and consider putting in a bid.
Super.
Nice work.
Been a long haul. Thank you all for your support.
Great, great.
We've been talking about this for 5 years.
Yeah. And maybe we could have a conversation at some point with Kingston to see how that's going for them. But thank you, Josh. That's great. Thank you. Andrew, light bulb exchange. You want to talk about light bulbs?
Sure, so they actually shipped, so they are on their way here, and we will have them presently. They do have to hold it for, I'm sorry, I lied, they didn't ship, they're ready to ship. They just received the check, they've got to wait till next week to make sure the check clears. Because he's like, I haven't received a check in a while. Welcome to Hudson. And then once we have them in hand, we need to discuss the exact terms of the exchange program, how to best implement that. I don't think there's time to go into that today, but things are moving along.
Okay, and maybe we'll hold off that for like next month because we need to have a set procedure. Like we just can't start handing them out randomly. There has to be a process. Okay, fine. All right, good. Thank you. In terms of the EV car grants, we're just going through more contracts and more forms. So that's still in the process. Arbor Day. Anyone?
RFP is
How's
ready
that?
with the advertisements. It's been sent to Rob. I've pinged him twice. He hasn't responded. I'm not sure if he's the one who actually even needs to. Tracy has volunteered from here, the clerk, to post it, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I did send it already to Seamus at Rising Root on behalf of Josh, gave me their contact. They were a group that did plantings for us 2 years ago that I already had a positive experience with. He got back to me right away. He's very excited to send us the proposal again. And we're going to reach out to some other nurseries as well directly. It will get up on the site. I just have to sort of go through the motions and steps.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's great. Good. I could follow up with Tracy too. We'll see where that is. Okay, next, the City of Hudson Comprehensive, the Spark meeting. Aaron, do you want to talk about that?
I guess that's kind of, maybe never mind. We're not gonna have bulbs. I don't know. What are we gonna do? What
I don't think we're gonna get the bulbs.
Look at sidewalk trees.
Okay.
We could always have sidewalk trees.
Sidewalk trees. All right.
I don't know. They asked us.
It would be better if we could do that. And
Something.
bulbs.
Yeah.
They did ask for our logo.
Hey.
Hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay.
Wait, was this part of this wasn't part of the comp plan. This was just the request from Liz at Spark for a different event.
Yeah.
Yes,
Spark of Hudson.
yeah. I think I could use it. Yeah.
I mean, Spark of Hudson did host a comp plan community visioning workshop recently, so maybe that was the combination on the agenda, but.
Yeah,
which was great,
I
by
think
the way.
I melded the two. I sent her all the information from the Climate Smart. I think I CC'd everyone regarding the comprehensive plan. I don't know. I mean, we could just have a table and be like, hey, we're the CAC. I don't know.
All right, who wants to do this with me?
Do what?
Yes.
Actually, let me make sure I'm still. I'm actually here in Hudson that day.
What date is that again?
It's the 18th.
Of February.
Uh-huh. Come on.
I'm not here.
What? Man, I was gonna get to know you.
I mean, you could tell people. You could tell people about the street tree plantings and that we're going to have light bulbs. Maybe start a list of people who are interested.
Are interested? Yes. Okay.
I don't know. There's an idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway. All right, cool. So can you get back to them, Aaron, on that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yay. Thank you. Aaron, you're up again. So the youth department and this the tree tags and the grant, the leftover grant money for the Harry Howard trees. How's that?
I wrote back and forth with Liz, and I have not actually read the emails that Nakira sent back. So
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, well, that's probably not gonna happen until springtime anyway, so we have time on that one. There. The tree ordinance, I think we talked last time that we're gonna send that over to the legal.
So, Rich, I don't know if you read the email, but we had an email exchange that you're CC'd on with Rob Perry, and with, this is sort of after the exchange with code enforcement about the same thing. And Rob is of the opinion that we require a charter change for DPW to regulate the street trees. And it is true that if you read the charter, a plain reading of the enumerating powers of DPW does say that they can regulate the placement of trees, but it does not say that they can regulate the removal of them. So,
Well, there you go.
Charter change is in the air, so maybe we can add this to the hopper.
Encompass under placement.
Charter changes, it's such an easy thing to do. You can be able to do it like no problem. Just change the charter. Yeah. All right, so
So I think that's where we are, is like there is, other than creating some tree board which failed last time, I'm sort of at my wit's end on like someone, whether or not DPW has legal authority to regulate trees in the public way is, I'm not a lawyer. That was an opinion that has been expressed to me, is that it would require charter change.
Right.
And so,
Which we can do.
which we can do, and we can start that
It just
process.
takes more time.
It takes a long time, but we can start that process.
Right.
And it's like adding, Tom, you're shaking your head. Yeah.
It might not take a long time. It depends on how, if it really means a significant change in someone's power.
Yeah.
Then it takes a long time. It's just sort of a charter change, you can do it in a moment.
Okay.
Yes.
It's, I think, adding 2 words to a long list of things that DPW shall do.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't take long.
Okay, I thought it had to like go.
Under certain circumstances, it will.
Right.
But
Okay.
we don't, Tom and I don't think that this is one.
Great, that's really good. That's cool.
We might be wrong.
What?
We might be wrong.
But,
Yeah.
but the first step is to find out.
Okay.
Right.
So that's where we are on that.
Right.
Is we should go to the legal committee? Is that the next step, Rich?
Well, like we could send it to legal. I mean, Margaret was willing to take it up in legal. I mean, my question, like if DPW can't regulate, is that why they had a tree board, for instance, which could regulate trees coming down? Is that why the tree board was an idea in there, you think?
I don't
Don't
know.
know. Yeah, okay, fine. I mean,
It's just my time.
I think the tree board was about, regulating the removal of and the pruning of specifically.
I think we've already found it in other municipalities.
Yeah.
Rhinebeck, Socrates.
But my DPW thread was trying to focus in on trees in the public way as like the narrowest possible thing. DPW already is doing regulation of tree additions, and so it seems very narrow and like how to get, and natural for getting the council on board if we include removals to their list of responsibilities that they have to do. And it sounds like we can.
Sounds reasonable. I mean, the point of that thread seems logical to me. I mean, to put it in with an organization that already has similar things.
Yeah. Okay, so
now,
who do I talk to then? If not, Margaret.
well, that's a question. I don't know if I would put it before the city council committee on.
well, it would go to the legal first or before the council.
Yeah.
I mean, Margaret, the legal committee can look at it and I don't know, maybe they have another solution or not. I don't know.
I could give all of the things that have led us to here for Margaret, and then send to her and CC you, Rich.
You know what? We could invite Margaret to the next CAC meeting and tell her in person, this is where we're at, and see if she wants to take it on.
Well, I would send her a document first, and if she wants to, I think that would be the next step after that. But I'd give her something to read.
Okay. Yeah.
Would I think be very helpful to her.
Okay. So Nathan, can you forward that information then to Margaret?
I can do that. with a summary of how we ended up here.
Got it.
Right, exactly. Letting her know that this is not a decision that we've made, but just is just, a big question mark. Right, okay, great.
I'm gonna say part of the comprehensive plan process right now, a tree ordinance is one of the considerations that they're suggesting. It's still a draft form, obviously, but this would be an alignment for what that whole process is looking like at the moment.
And yeah, it's great to know that we can do small charter changes without a giant process, which I didn't realize.
There you go.
Okay, and I think the last issue we had is the anti-idling law.
Yes. We have a draft. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to take a look at it. Happy to forward that to you to see. And then I forwarded that to the parking bureau folks to just chime in if they had, because part of that was about enforcement to weigh in, and I have not heard a peep from them. So
Okay.
I have not followed. They received it. They acknowledged, and then that was right before the holidays, so I should follow up again.
And who at the parking enforcement did you give to?
The commissioner,
Oh, okay, great.
even of the police commissioner, it was where I was redirected to.
Good. It's in their lap.
And you haven't heard back, is that it?
I have not heard back.
Okay, I could follow up with them. All right, that's all I have. Anything else, folks? No? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yes?
Yes.
Where's the wave? Aaron, I'm expecting a wave, Aaron.
Oh, right.
All right, great. Thank you all. Thanks for playing. Have a good night. Meeting adjourned.